Rental assistance is on the table. Our Bella Caracta is on your side with how you may qualify.
They're struggling to pay for their utilities. They're struggling to put food on the table.
Destiny Fant deeply understands working through housing insecurity.
Am I going to feed my family or am I going to pay my rent?
Now she works with the nonprofit Together to help others get through it. Fant says even though the pandemic is over, one symptom lingers for many.
We're seeing a lot of rent-burdened households where 50% or more of their income is going to rent.
6 News reported on emergency rental assistance in Douglas County. However, the latest round of pandemic-era funding is for even more of Nebraska.
I think it's important that other places, aside from Douglas and Lancaster, which are the two biggest, are being able to kind of get some assistance as well.
The Legal Aid of Nebraska attorneys, like Scott Mertz, are helping spread the word to the 91 other counties, including those in need in nearby Sarpy and Washington County.
There's a combined financial component and a legal component to just make sure that we are keeping people in their homes, preventing homelessness.
To qualify for emergency rental assistance in these 91 counties, you have to have qualified for unemployment or experienced financial hardship during or as a result of the pandemic. You're at risk of experiencing homelessness or housing instability. Your household income is at or below 80% of the area median income. For example, 80% of the area median income for Sarpy County means you're making less than about $80,000 a year for a household of 4. For more detailed information on the qualifications and how to apply, you can go on our website at WOWT.com. On your side in Omaha, Bella Caracta, 6 News.